Hello YouTube family and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is McKinney and I love making videos about personal style, slow fashion, and capsule wardrobing. In today's video, I want to go over some of the capsule wardrobe misconceptions that I heard or learned when I was first learning how to build my capsule wardrobe. Now, this is not to say that these are wrong or incorrect, but I had this perspective that these misconceptions were the only way to do capsule wardrobing, and through my own journey, I have learned that building capsule wardrobe is a very personal thing, and the result of that journey is going to be different depending on who you are and what your personal style is. So hopefully by sharing these common misconceptions, I can steer you away from making the same mistakes that I did so that you can have a wonderful, beautiful personal style journey while you create your capsule wardrobe. But before we get into the video, I want to invite you to please subscribe down below if you haven't already. We've hit 8,000 subscribers, which is just beyond what I could have ever imagined this channel would get to, and I'm so excited, and I have you all to thank, so thank you so much. If you want to continue to support my channel, please subscribe down below. Give me a big thumbs up if you like content like this. Let me know down below in the comments which capsule wardrobe misconceptions you had or which one of these you relate the most to. If you don't already follow me over on Instagram, I'll put my handle on the screen. I like to make a reel or a couple of reels every week and have a really fun time doing that. I post outfit inspiration like this and like this. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely give me a follow over there. Let's go ahead and get into these 8 capsule wardrobe misconceptions. So the first capsule wardrobe misconception that I had when I first started my journey was that a capsule wardrobe has to be built up of basic colors and neutrals. I'm talking about colors like black, white, gray, and then other light neutrals, maybe blue if you want to go a little crazy. And having that misconception really skewed the beginning of my capsule wardrobe journey because I literally wouldn't touch anything with color on it. And the wildest thing that I had in my wardrobe was probably my Breton striped top right here because I had a pattern on it. And it's a real shame that I had that misconception when I first started my capsule wardrobing because I ultimately sold or gave away a lot of really beautiful, colorful pieces that I honestly really liked and could probably still use in my wardrobe today. I want to totally emphasize that I think dressing in neutrals is so effortless and really beautiful. There's a lot about it that can make getting dressed really easy, and of course, it's kind of timeless in nature. But I also want to say that by no means do you need to build your capsule wardrobe out of neutrals. Just this past year, I have put a real emphasis on colors that I enjoy wearing, namely green, pink, and then different shades of blue like navy and light blue. And even though that might not sound crazy to a lot of you, it was a really big step for me after being so inundated with the idea that a capsule wardrobe had to be built out of neutrals. Your outfits can be full of color and pattern and excitement. So definitely don't let the idea of a color scheme deter you from trying a capsule wardrobe. It doesn't have to be full of neutrals. It can be full of beautiful color to reflect who you are inside. The second capsule wardrobe misconception that I had when I first started my capsule wardrobing journey was that my pieces had to be really classic or timeless in nature. And I think that when we say those words, we probably have some images in our head of what that looks like. When I hear those words, I think of, people like Audrey Hepburn, just really kind of classic silhouettes, classic fashion. But I honestly don't think that's true. I think that you can have the silhouettes in your capsule wardrobe that suit your personal style. Here's why. If you don't have a capsule wardrobe full of silhouettes that you like to wear, then you're not going to wear them. And what's the point of having a capsule wardrobe in the first place? I really experienced this in full force after I purchased several button-down collared shirts for my capsule wardrobe when I first started, and now I have no classic button-down collared shirts in my wardrobe. And it's ultimately because that silhouette just doesn't work for me. I've shown this shirt on this channel before, but this silhouette with the more romantic puff sleeves and the feminine Peter Pan collar, those little details really make a difference. So while this might not be the classic or timeless version of your Oxford shirt, it's a silhouette that works for me, and because of that, I wear it so much more than I ever wore any of my other classic button-downs. And while it's true that some silhouettes might be perceived as timeless or classic, I think it really comes down to the fact that when we think of fashion and we think of trends, those things might be fleeting. Those things might become dated. But when we think of personal style, as long as something is in style to you, it's worth you wearing it, even if it doesn't fall into the classic or timeless categories. Fill your capsule wardrobe with things that you love to wear, that reflect who you are and that you identify with. And if you do that, then you will be so happy with the results. The third capsule wardrobe misconception I had when I first started was that everything has to match everything else. Now, don't get me wrong, this is definitely sort of true, but not completely true. It is definitely easier to pair things or to match things when everything matches everything else. But when you add the lens of trying to make every single thing pair perfectly with everything else, I think it adds a level of difficulty that makes capsule wardrobing inaccessible for a lot of people, especially people who don't have just a ton of time. So I think that the priority and the goal should be to make sure that most things match most things. When that's your priority, not only do you give yourself a little bit of flexibility in terms of finding pieces and purchasing pieces that you love, but you also give yourself the opportunity to buy some standout pieces that really fill your closet with joy. I have some pieces that definitely don't match everything else, or some standout pieces that really are only worn on their own, except for maybe changing up the shoes or changing up the third layer. Pieces like dresses that I absolutely love to wear, dresses full of pattern and color. If I didn't have room to purchase things like that in my capsule wardrobe, I would be a much sadder person than I am today. And I think that it's so important that your capsule wardrobe reflects who you are. So if having everything match everything else is a burden for you, then it's unnecessary. I think as long as you have a sense of coherence and cohesiveness, then you can make most things work with most things, and that should be your priority. Plus, if you keep everything in a color scheme that you really enjoy, then on some level, your wardrobe will feel cohesive. And so instead of worrying about whether this pattern is going to mix with that pattern, look at the colors and go from there. The fourth capsule wardrobe misconception that I had when I first started capsule wardrobing was that everything has to be minimalist in nature. Now, I think minimalist can mean different things for different people. For me, it simply means not having a lot of excess things and really paring things down to what I really love or what are absolutely essential to my life. But I think for some of us, when we think of minimalist, we think of a very neutral, clean line silhouette, really just like a certain aesthetic or certain vibe pops into your mind or pops up into the screen when you search minimalist on something like Pinterest, for example. I think this aesthetic is so beautiful, and I think it works for a lot of people. If that's how you want to choose to portray yourself to the outside world, that's so lovely. But by no means does a capsule wardrobe have to be minimalist in this specific way. Again, you can fill your wardrobe with color and pattern. I really love floral patterns, as you have seen exemplified throughout my wardrobe. So there is so much room for creativity and versatility in a wardrobe that still has prints and patterns and isn't just full of quote-unquote minimalist pieces. And it's also important to realize that it doesn't have to fit just one aesthetic. You can enjoy a minimalist aesthetic with a romantic aesthetic, with a cottagecore aesthetic, with a casual or classic or romantic or rocker or bohemian, whatever aesthetics or style types that you feel like represent you to the outside world, you can play around with those and find ways to make them work together. You do not have to limit your capsule wardrobe to just one of those, because none of us are just one style type. We are a mixture of many of our experiences, of our likes, of our dislikes, of things that please us, that we enjoy looking at. So your capsule wardrobe should be a reflection of all of those things. The fifth misconception I had when I started capsule wardrobing was that I had to clean slate it at the beginning of my journey. I had this perception that in order to do this correctly, I needed to get rid of everything that wasn't basic or timeless and just start over. I sold a lot of stuff. I gave a lot of stuff away, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I ended up parting with some things that I still regret parting with to this day. You do not have to completely clear out your wardrobe in order to start capsule wardrobing. You can and should work with pieces you already have that you already love. This doesn't mean that a decluttering process at the beginning isn't helpful, especially if you're parting with pieces that you don't feel represent your personal style or that are tattered or torn. We can donate those, sell those, or find ways to repurpose the clothes that we do have, especially if they are particularly damaged or worn beyond repair. But to the pieces that you do really enjoy wearing and that you do love, you don't have to get rid of them. You can keep them in your wardrobe and find ways to work with them and add to them to make them more versatile. I say this because it's important to remember that the most sustainable piece is the one that you already own. So if you have pieces that you love and can make them work, that is a step towards continued sustainability and mindful consumption in your wardrobe. The sixth capsule wardrobe misconception that I had when I first started my capsule wardrobing journey was that my capsule wardrobe had to look like everybody else's. I had this picture in my mind of what a capsule wardrobe should look like, and I strove towards that goal. To me, it was t-shirts, jeans, blazers, sneakers, boots, and again, full of neutrals, full of really classic silhouettes and pieces. And having that kind of expectation of what a capsule wardrobe should look like opened my eyes to several pieces that I hadn't really purchased a lot that I end up wearing a lot now. Things like straight leg jeans and t-shirts, namely. Those play a big role in my wardrobe. But I ended up way over purchasing, like I said before, button-down shirts and too many blazers that I have since gotten rid of. I had this picture of what a capsule wardrobe should look like, and I perceived that everybody else who wanted to do capsule wardrobing had the exact same or a very similar iteration of the one that I had in my brain. That is so not true. Everybody's capsule wardrobe should be different because everybody is different. Copying and pasting someone else's capsule wardrobe for yourself is just going to make the process more difficult in the long run because you'll end up having to sift through things that you don't really care about all over again. The seventh capsule wardrobe misconception that I had was that it had to fit a specific lifestyle. Whatever this lifestyle was manifested itself in a lot of 100% cotton jeans, t-shirts, and blazers. And even though I think those are all items that are valuable and can look really good, I had no idea how wasteful I would end up being, especially when it came to the purchase of denim. Over the years and throughout my capsule wardrobe journey, I've purchased several pairs of 100% cotton jeans, and very few have worked for me in the long term simply because of my lifestyle. Whatever lifestyle it was that this image of capsule wardrobing I had in my mind purported to be, it didn't fit with mine, but I ignored that in an effort to copy someone else's capsule. And I have really learned my lesson from that. Now I prioritize things like comfort. So comfy trousers, elasticated waistbands. There's still room for jeans. There's still room for 100% cotton jeans. I have a pair that is so comfortable and that I really enjoy. But I, at the same time, acknowledge that whatever lifestyle this was that had this individual standing 100% of the time just did not work for my capsule wardrobe, and I'm so thankful I learned that lesson. And the final capsule wardrobe misconception that I had when I first started was that capsule wardrobing is one and done. What I mean by that is I had a shopping list, and my goal was to check everything off of that shopping list and then never have to shop again. And even though that would be a really ideal way to look at capsule wardrobing and probably an ideal way to live your life, it's simply not practical. Bodies change, people change, lifestyles change, your geographical location changes, you become a parent or your children leave the house, you start a new job, or you go back to school. All of these lifestyle changes come with wardrobe changes. As awesome as it would be to have a comprehensive list that once you check everything off, you're done for the rest of your life, that's just not the way life works. That doesn't mean that we can make purchases willy-nilly or make purchases quickly or mindlessly. But what it does mean is that we should acknowledge that capsule wardrobes are very, very dynamic. They shift and change with us because if they don't, they become useless. That also means that if you have to add a piece to your wardrobe, take away a piece from your wardrobe, add some professional pants, add some sweatpants, that doesn't mean that you should feel guilty or like you've done capsule wardrobing wrong. Capsule wardrobes change just like people change. If those things don't work together, then they're not helping each other, they're just harming each other. All right, so those are my 8 capsule wardrobe misconceptions from when I first started my capsule wardrobing journey. I really hope that these have been helpful and applicable to you all, that you can maybe avoid some of the same mistakes that I made through watching this video. At the end of the day, I want to leave you with just the overarching theme of this, which is capsule wardrobes should reflect your lifestyle, who you are, and your personal style. If they don't reflect those things, then they are not serving you like they should. And at the end of the day, our pieces should be serving us and we should be wearing them. And if they're not, it's totally all right to reevaluate and go from there. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you would please subscribe to my channel down below, give me a thumbs up, and let me know which capsule wardrobe misconception you had or which one of these you relate the most to. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram if you want to see the reels that I post. Like always, it's such an honor to spend this time with you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.